Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Fresh Out the Podcast. The only podcast with me, Jahan, the board game guru and game master extraordinaire.
It's me, Casualty CDG, and I am the co-host of Carly Rae Jepsen Salt, the only Carly Rae Jepsen podcast on the internet.
I am the media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse Drew Munhausen, and boy, if only people could hear the conversations that we have off air before the show and know the context for your joke that I'm not going to explain. Just so great. Yeah, we're here for a special bonus episode of Fresh Out the Podcast because yesterday there was a big Microsoft Bethesda showcase for all of their upcoming games, and there were a lot of announcements, and we knew there were going to be, and so we thought it'd be good to just kind of go through some of the things that we are excited about. This was a pretty lengthy show. It was a little over 90 minutes. I think it was like an hour and 35 minutes or something like that.
Right around, yeah.
And before we get into a bunch of individual announcements or whatever, I want to know just what you guys thought of the actual show itself, the presentation, the look of it, the length, all that. Give me some general thoughts.
Presentation.
You can include in that if you liked it or not.
Presentation was pretty good. It looks like they've learned a lot from Nintendo Directs. It was pretty similar. They even tried to get a noise, like how they have the shik for the Nintendo Switch. They tried to do that with like some dun dun noise. I liked it. I thought it looked good. It was clean. It flowed well, and it got the information out. I liked it.
I liked it too. I thought it was pretty streamlined. There was some games that I didn't care about, but there's going to be games I don't care about at every game show.
Yeah.
I liked the 90-ish minute format, and I probably could have gone for like another 20. But 90-ish minutes felt about right, honestly. I just wish there had been some more stuff that I wanted and less stuff that other people wanted. But other than that, I missed the era of a game show when there was a crowd to cheer at a game and to applaud. I missed that energy, but I liked it otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. I thought it was really clean. Actually, it kicked off going directly into a game demo of Redfall, and I think it went straight from that to the next game. And for a second there, I thought, oh shoot, they're not even going to have people talking between. There's not going to be voiceover. Like, it's just going to be game previews. But then they did have some various hosts or people up there introing their games, which I liked. I liked that they used the same stage throughout, so it had that very kind of
Continuity.
cohesive, look throughout. And I agree, the length was good. It flowed. They showed so many different things. They never stayed on one thing for too long. I will say for myself, I think they luckily put my expectations in check from the beginning when one of the experts got up there and said that this is specifically a look at everything that's coming within the next 12 months. Like, these are games you can expect to be playing in the next year. Not like we're gonna have more updates or whatever in the next year. Like, these games will all be in our hands in the next year. So right then I knew, okay, I'm probably not going to see Fable, and I'm probably not going to see whatever the initiative is working on. I think they're working on the new Perfect Dark game. I'm probably not going to see a new Gears of War game because I just don't expect any of those to be out within the next year. So
It blows my mind that Fable was announced almost 4 years ago, and there is nothing yet. I would really think there would be some screenshots, some trailers, some gameplay demos, but it is. I don't know if they scrapped the project and started over or what, but the new Fable project has been very quiet.
Yeah, I'm sure, COVID, and then possibly COVID delayed it enough for them to be like, hey, look at this new technology, let's start over, blah, blah, blah.
And it's Playground Games that's been working on that now. So who they do the Forza Horizon games. So they did just have the most recent Forza Horizon just came out, I think, last fall. So it hasn't even been a year since that game. So I think they were really doing early pre-production work on Fable during Forza, and then that Forza came out. So now they've been actually, I'm sure, working on it, but there's no way that game's coming out before it. With it not being even touched on within the next year, I bet that's a 2024 game.
Probably.
At earliest.
Yeah, at earliest. That's exactly what I was going to say. You're exactly right.
I'm really excited about the 12-month format too, because like you said, like these, I'm going to be playing these and like all year. Some of them are coming out soon. Some of them are coming out a few months from now. And you can kind of see almost the timeline of what you're going to be doing for the next year. So that's cool.
And if they showed more Elder Scrolls 6, we would be just as in the dark about it now as we would if they would have shown another trailer. It doesn't matter if you tell us it's coming because we all already know. So I agree with you guys. I like that they focused on games that are going to be in our hands sooner than later.
Yeah, I to appreciate them being realistic with it, because as much as in my head I think I wanted that in one more thing, or here's this big announcement that's just going to blow your socks off, even if it's for a game that's not coming out for 3 years. Like, you kind of want that in these conferences, but then at the same time, the whole online community is just going to be complaining about, why are you showing this thing that doesn't even come out for 3 years? So I get it. So I understand them having the restraint, and that's probably a good thing to have because, as we know, game companies for years have not had any restraint. They tell you about stuff way far in advance. Nintendo's really good about telling you, not announcing stuff until it's right around the corner, with the exception of Zelda games with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I'm really happy that no empty promises. They're not empty promises. Right. I feel like I can trust these. The only exception to the timeline thing, I think, is unless it's coming out in the next 12 months, is the Hideo Kojima announcement. Because it sounded like he just signed on, but I'm fine hearing about that in advance.
I think that was kind of their sneaky, big announcement that's really far off. But yeah, having Hideo Kojima on an Xbox show,
crazy,
or a Microsoft show is a big deal.
It's like
for gaming. Yeah. And I happened to sneak over into the PS5 Reddit comments about that announcement, and there were a lot of unhappy campers and interesting folks. There's even petitions that have come out of like change.org people wanting this game canceled because it's Hideo Kojima turning on his country and fans and all this stuff. So that just goes to show you how divided the console war can be with people. It can so
get pretty
silly.
intense. pretty intense.
It's insane. It's insane. Yeah.
One
Well,
of my hobbies is to go to the games that are coming out soon on Xbox Game Store
Same.
because I don't like to follow games for 2 or 3 years that keep getting delayed and delayed and delayed. It just makes me, I don't want to say sick to my stomach because that's too far, but it annoys the ever living crap out of me to be like, 2 months, I can't wait 2 months, and they push it back another 6 or another 8. Nothing makes me less interested in following a game than it getting delayed and delayed. So it's another reason I loved that this was a show of here's what's coming out within the year. Because the chances of these things getting delayed and delayed and delayed, I would say, is really low. Now, some of these titles will probably get pushed back. And I hope that they do if they need to. I hope they get the time they need to breathe. We'll see.
they got ahead of that too. I think to their credit, because Starfield was originally announced to come out in November of this year, and I think Redfall was originally announced to be a 2022 game as well. And they actually came out within the past couple of weeks and said that those games were delayed into early 2023. So at least that didn't come as a surprise or a downer during the show. They had gotten ahead of it with that. But for sure, when they said this is going to be stuff on the next year, it became very apparent to me early on that, okay, Starfield is going to be the star of this show. It's going to be the main event, is we're going to finally get to see Starfield. And we did.
We did.
They opened with Redfall, which I hadn't heard of Redfall. I hadn't seen Redfall. And as I was seeing this trailer, I was immediately texting Jahan, was like, you want to kill vampires with me in 2023? Come on board for a 4-player cooperative vampire slaying good time. That's what we're looking at with Redfall.
Yeah, Redfall, they started off with a gameplay trailer. They really got into it. They introduced all the characters. There are 4 asymmetric characters. None of them have the same powers, which is cool. So it's very different from Left 4 Dead in that way. The other way is that we're fighting vampires versus zombies. It looks really fun. It looks like what we wanted Back 4 Blood to be. A real fun 4-player co-op romp through hell. And
yeah, it looks like sometimes you're sneaking around nice and quiet in a spooky, dark room filled with blood and claw marks, and then a vampire will come flying or floating at you off the wall in a twisted, creepy motion and try to murder you. And while you're not in horrifying, dark buildings that are just giving you nightmares, you are outside in the streets where there appear to be like familiars for the vampires, humans in armor with guns ready to go. The sun is blocked out in this setting, so vampires can be out during the day. I was really interested in Redfall. 4-player co-op, different classes. It's got me and Jahan written all over it. We'll be killing vampires in the first quarter of 23.
And this is the first game they showed, and the first of many that at the end of it they were like, coming to Game Pass day 1. So this will be free to play day 1. What character are you excited for, Gary? Any of them strike your fancy?
So I saw somebody slam a staff into the ground, and then light shot out of the staff and turned vampires into stone.
I was
just
also
like,
interested.
Boom! A cone of stone vampires.
Yeah, that's the Cryptid Hunter. He has a lot of cool gadgets. Then there is the Telepath, or the Telekinetic, who's the woman that starts it off with the purple energy blast. There's the Engineer that has a drone, and then there's the Sniper that can camouflage.
Engineer with drone and Cryptid Hunter are probably the 2 that are calling to me.
Probably the Telekinetic and the Sniper. And the Cryptid. I mean, I want to play all of them, I think. I liked all of them. I was pretty happy. What about you, Drew? That game strike your fancy at all?
It did, for different reasons than y'all. Like, I knew this would be up your alleys because I know you guys are really big fans of Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood, like you said, like those style of games. So I knew this would be up your alley. It's a 4-player co-op game, but instead of zombies, it's vampires. The thing that's interesting to me is that this game's made by Arcane, who Arcane made the Dishonored games, which are games that I really enjoy. And those kind of provide, each level is like an open sandbox with different ways to go about it and with a mission to accomplish. So I'm kind of hoping that a little bit of Dishonored is implemented into this game. That yes, it's a 4-player co-op game, but like I'm hoping that there are some additional objectives or storytelling, because the Dishonored world is very detailed and there's a lot of stories that can be told in the setting. Things you can find, rooms that you can access, things like that. So I'm hoping that that's a little bit more in the game, more so than just like a linear path you follow where there's hordes of vampires. So I'm interested to see more in that way. And then plus I think it's just kind of neat there's so many games, no offense, Jahan, but there's so many games with zombies, and there's less games where you're fighting vampires like this. Yeah. So vampires are very smart and just different. So even though you can make the comparison easily, I'm hoping that the combat with vampires will be
it looks very different because like they can like lunge at you from across the map. They have powers, and also they have familiars that have guns, which is very different. But yeah, no, you might be surprised to find out I like vampires almost just as much as I love zombies, man.
Yeah, so that kicked off the show, and I thought that was a great way to kick off the show, because that's a big game that people are excited for that we hadn't really seen much of yet, because they did show a cinematic trailer for that one about a year ago, but that was it. We didn't really know what it was going to look like or how it was going to play. And so I think showing that fresh, right off the bat and letting us know that not only to see what this game looks like, but show like this is a fully formed game, like this is really going to be something we get to play soon. So going along with that theme.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. We can. So I'll also say, just because I wanted to say this up top, but like obviously every game for the most part was introduced with either Xbox console exclusive or world premiere, and sometimes it would say console launch exclusive, which means that it's launching on Xbox first, but it won't be totally exclusive to the console forever. And then I'll have a majority of these trailers, I'd say probably 80 to 90% ended with available day one on Game Pass. Did either of you almost get tired of the console launch premiere day one on Game Pass? I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, honestly, I see the end of these trailers have the Game Pass badge. Like, I can see that. I don't need an additional graphic that slams down to shove it in my face. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for things on Game Pass, but I was like, oh my gosh.
Honestly, every time that they showed that, it was like Christmas, man. I was like, a free game, I get to play. Even if it's like, I wouldn't normally buy some of these because like it might not be exactly my thing, or I'd be worried I wouldn't play it enough. But if they're free, I'll give them a shot, and I might really like them, and I'm excited. It was like Christmas like 100 times, man. It was super dope for me.
Well, I won't say I got sick of the coming to Game Pass splash, but I did actively notice it over and over and over to the point where I was like, in my head, I thought, I don't know if this is coming up before the game it's going to show or after the game that it just showed.
Right. I totally understand what you mean. Okay, well, yeah, so Redfall, and then they showed a little trailer for the new Hollow Knight, which is a 2D platformer game. Yeah, Gary, I know you're shaking your head, not your style, but Hollow Knight's actually very well received.
Critically acclaimed, highly stylized, very fun. I've played a little bit too. Good boss battles. And yeah, I'll probably check this out. Free on Game Pass. Why wouldn't I?
Right, and it's multi-platform, but on Game Pass day one, so it's like, where I'll be playing it. They showed a game from the creators of Rick and Morty called High on Life that had talking guns that totally looked kind of like a fun trip.
It gave me big Outworld. What was that game? You know what I'm talking about? Outward vibes, where Stranger, he had the gun with like the critters you could put on it, and
Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. Yeah, I loved that game.
Yeah, it gave me some of those vibes. It's obviously much more adult. The graphics blew me away. I will play this and enjoy it very much. I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. He made a game studio, Squanch Games, and they've been putting out some pretty interesting stuff. So
it looked fun and silly.
I see on Kotaku that they're saying that they're over the Rick and Morty sense of humor and they're not interested in this game. I'm also over Rick and Morty, but I don't think that Rick and Morty is a sense of humor or a style of humor. It's a show. And this is not that show. So to be over that style of humor, I think is a trash thing to write in your article. Uh, I think High on Life looks like a lot of fun. It's got a lot of silly voices. Every gun you have is like a different stand-up comedian, it seems like, with a bunch of voice lines. So as you're going around blasting your gun, there's all of these hilarious voice lines to hear. Uh, one of the things in a game that gets really grating is when your character says the same crap over and over and over. And it's sort of a thing that's lost to the 90s, where the characters had those quips that they would lash out all game. They're not as common these days because they're annoying.
Yeah.
It's nice to see a game where you have all these different guns, different characters, and different voice lines that if you get bored of one, you could just switch guns and keep blasting and have more hilarious stuff. I think that High on Life looks like a lot of fun.
Looks like a lot of fun. I was excited for the gun, where like you launch its children, and the gun was like, "It's okay, we can make more." And like it was like, do I have to like inseminate my gun? Like this is weird. But it was a good kind of weird.
There were some people on Reddit that were just talking about how the voices of the guns, because they said you get fans on here that are adamant, but one person, swears by the fact that one of them sounded like Tim Robinson, who's the famous comedian who's got the show on Netflix, and also JB Smoove sounded like one, which I thought one sounded like him as well. So it sounds like we are going to get some actual known comedians to voice these guns, which I think makes it that much more fun.
It makes sense
completely agree.
because it is a game company owned by a voice acting comedian, so it would make sense that he would be able to pull from that pool very well. I'm excited for this one, like big time. This one that was a completely unexpected game.
And I also don't care about first-person single-player campaign shooting games. There's not a lot to draw me into that genre. If I'm playing first-person shooter, it's going to be with friends. I don't want to play it by myself.
That's how
But
I feel.
High on Life sort of seems like an exception I might make for some of the comedy that this game looks like it's going to hold.
Yeah, I avoid those single player shooters like Doom and that kind of stuff. Not really my bag.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
This looks
As much
funny.
as I love a shooter,
So
exactly.
the types of game, those are the first person shooters I love to play. The Doom games rule, the new ones especially are super fun. So yeah, but I'm glad that we can meet in the middle and agree that we're all going to play this one.
Yes.
So following this, they had somebody from Riot Games came up and
The
made the
president.
announcement that yeah, there you go. I should have that in front of me. But basically all the League of Legends, or excuse me, all the Riot games, League of Legends, League of Legends Wild Rift, Legends of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, and Valorant are all coming to Game Pass in some form or another. I think a lot of these are free to play games anyway, but the
All
benefit
of them, I believe.
the benefit here is that by coming to Game Pass, you're getting all of these, a lot of these games have characters or heroes that you unlock either by in-game currency that you can grind out or by just paying money for. And I saw a stat that said to buy every hero on League of Legends cost nearly $650 now. And by coming to Game Pass, all heroes will be available to Game Pass subscribers. So it seems like good value.
It is only Game Pass for PC. It is not going to be for console. There's been speculation for almost 2 years now that Wild Rift would be popping up on console. And Teamfight Tactics is also literally a phone game.
Yes.
So I am surprised that those have not been ported over, approved, and weren't part of that announcement.
That's what I was going to mention. A lot of these are on the phone, and they still get the benefit from the Game Pass. So that's very cool.
I thought for sure when they were announcing this that part of the announcement was that League was coming to Xbox, and I started to get kind of stoked for it because I'm like, man, all my friends played League for like 10 years it seemed like, and I played a little bit, but it was a PC game and I didn't have a good PC. I'm like, but if it comes to Xbox and they're playing, I might jump into a game or two. And so I was a little disappointed to see everything was either for PC or mobile.
I'm relieved because if it comes to Xbox, that's the end of me being productive. That's it. It's done. It's over. Yeah. So the full announcement was League of Legends, Wild Rift, and Valorant, all champions unlocked on all three of those games. And then I believe for Legends of Runeterra, you get some card unlocks, not all. And then Teamfight Tactics, some kind of bonus. I wasn't sure. Oh, it unlocked some like chibi hero mode or something.
All the heroes are pretty chibi in that game.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, you just get like all the little chibi guys. Basically, you get more avatars to make run around and pick up heroes. It's nothing huge.
Yeah. That was pretty.
So
I mean, that was a big gauntlet to throw, in my opinion, by Microsoft.
Oh,
It was-
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's huge. There are PC players that have probably been playing League for years and will switch over or do whatever they need to do to play on Game Pass to have all of those hero or champions unlocked, or people that maybe put off League because they didn't want to put real money into it. Now, if they're already subscribing to Game Pass, why not give it a try?
I think that it's way too little too late. You're putting a free game on a subscription service, and it's a free game that's been out for, like you said, over a decade. Seeing this come to a different console would have been big news, but this is not big news to me. This is bad news. It's not anything news. It's kind of like now you can pay a subscription to play this free game. That's not great. I would have loved to have seen it come to console. I'm sure we will still get Wild Rift someday. But I've been saying that now for what seems like over a year. I just can't believe it hasn't happened yet.
I hope so.
Following this, they showed a trailer for A Plague Tale Requiem, which I assume is something that neither of you are that interested in. But I played the first A Plague's Tale and really enjoyed it, so I'm actually really looking forward to this game.
It looks pretty fun. And I wasn't interested in the first one. I just never got around to it. I might pick it up. But
It's a good
not
kind of
something I would
stealth
buy.
action game, and rats are a big plot point, and using light and puzzles to avoid rats, which doesn't sound very fun when you explain it that way. But I actually really liked this game. So yeah, if they got a little bit bigger budget, can make a bigger game with a little bit more action or combat added in, I'm here for it. So I'm
Speaking
excited
of Dishonored, that sounds like a game made by the Dishonored studio. A game where you have to control light to stay out of the plague rats.
Definitely can see those parallels. But yeah, so I think that's coming out. I think it said later on in 2022. I can't remember if they said 2022 or 2023, but I feel like it was this year.
They announced a new Forza, and it looks like Forza, except better at being Forza than all the other Forzas before it.
Yeah, this is
More hitboxes, more paint scratched off, better environments, all that type of thing. There are new tire materials. You can put different conductive materials on your car for heat. Heat affects the track, it affects your traction. It's all the kind of stuff that people who have been playing racing simulators really wanted to see. I like the Forza Horizon stuff more. That's the arcade version of Forza. The actual Forza Motorsports are very, very realistic to the point of, is it even a game? Are you even playing a game anymore? You're tuning up a car a lot of the time.
It's for sure regarded at this point, even surpassing Gran Turismo on PlayStation, as being the best racing simulator available now. And I mean, Forza has a hardcore dedicated fan base. I agree. I don't have much to say about this because I'm not like, it's not my genre,
Not mine.
but I did think that this looked visually amazing. And I think the thing that's relevant for fans of the franchise here is that we've had 2 Forza Horizon games since the last Forza Motorsport entry. Forza Motorsport 7 came out in 2017. And then since then, we got Forza Horizon 4 in 2018, and then Forza Horizon 5 in 2021. So,
And the
fact
reason
we're
for
going
that
back to motorsport
is
is big.
because the Horizon games are so arcadey. They're so big and they're kind of easy and they're fun. But Motorsport is really focusing on, like I said, things like heat and weather and materials touching the track. So having to wait a few years for something like that is, I'm sure the racing simulator fans are, super happy to see this coming. I'm not going to play it, probably. I probably
you
won't
say
even
that, but
download
I
it.
will probably download it just because of an Xbox Game Pass day one and just dabble in it. But I probably won't revisit it after that, knowing myself.
I can guarantee
Just 'cause
I
it's
will
just
not
not my
play
thing.
it. I only enjoy like cartoony, goofy racing games. That's it. Like Mario Kart and stuff. Don't like
So
the
I'm
realism.
I'm gonna skip around here for a minute because the next announcement that I have on this list is where I kind of got into. I got a little restless during this part in the show.
Jeez.
Because we got Microsoft Flight Simulator 40th anniversary, so like just an expanded edition with, Halo Infinite add-ons and some older planes and that kind of thing. And I'm like, it's fine, I know that has its fans. And then we also got more content for Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76 and Forza Horizon 5 with the Hot Wheels expansion, which these are all like DLC packs or expansions for existing games. So again, totally acknowledging that those games have their dedicated fan bases and these are big for those players. That's just not me. So I was shifting a little bit like, okay, I want more new announcements. So maybe that's my own greediness when it comes to this show.
If the Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels stuff was free, I know that it's DLC, it is not free. If it were free, I would play that because that Hot Wheels DLC actually looked like a whole lot of fun.
It did.
There are just orange tracks as far as the eye can see, like as far out to infinity, with loop-de-loops and big curves and a mix of modern cars with Hot Wheels cars. It really did look fun. And I've even heard that the Hot Wheels racing game that came out last year, 2021, I've heard that that one is a really great title.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this stuff looked good, but I think I was just so in my own head of wanting new. Like, don't waste time on this. I want to see new. Even though the stuff did look good. I mean, even with Flight Simulator, some of the stuff looked cool, but I also knew in the back of my head, I'm not going to re-download all, 120 gigs of Microsoft Flight Simulator to play
Yep.
with the Halo Infinite Pelican. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, which is funny because you can't even fly a Pelican in Halo Infinite. But you can in the Halo Infinite expansion for Microsoft's Flight Simulator.
But the next announcement, though, is one we'll probably have some words about because I was kind of gauging you guys on this before we were live. This was the announcement for Overwatch 2.
No one
And
cares.
it is... Overwatch had a huge fan base. And so Overwatch 2, I know, was announced a while back, but I know there's been some controversy since. I'm not part of that community, so I don't know all the details. All I do know is that they finally came out with this again. It's out in October, and it's free to play.
I know all about it. I was a big Overwatch guy. I know about their community drama. A team from Hong Kong won the championship, and then they said some anti-Chinese Republic stuff. So Blizzard took the trophy back from them and undeclared them winners.
Wow.
Since then, Blizzard has restructured, fired a lot of people. They're being bought out. A lot of stuff's changing. But this game, Overwatch 2, just besides the company drama that they've had and they kind of put a stain on the Overwatch name, they are literally adding one character out of like the almost 20 characters there are to play. This new game has one. One. Just one.
We've seen
How
of
many
what
maps?
they showed.
How many maps, Gary?
They've added 0 new maps.
Yeah.
And they've added a new PvE mode so that all of the players that have been playing this competitive MOBA, third person or first person shooter MOBA, now that they can go fight AI, and you can go shoot computers.
Yeah.
Which is like a horrible update. It's a backstep. They took teams from a 6-man team format down to a 5-man team format. So
Really
there are
weird choice.
less people, so now you're relying on one tank in your game. They didn't do any character balancing yet, so some of the tanks are like absolute trash because they were initially designed to be part of a 2-tank system. There's a lot of really bad inherent game designs that are super flawed about this because they're taking a 6-person game, streamlining it down to 5, re-releasing the same game, only adding one hero, not adding new maps. It's just crap on top of crap on top of crap. Not excited at all for Overwatch 2. They shouldn't have called it Overwatch 2. It should be Overwatch like 1.1 or 1.2. I'm really unhappy with this product.
I also liked the original Overwatch. I have nothing for this. I'm not excited at all.
move on to some other things that looked cooler. So the next announcement was just a CG trailer for a game called Ara History Untold. Looks like this is some sort of
Mhm.
PC strategy game. Probably something Jahan will like. At first, it got me because it said turn-based strategy game, and I was thinking like a turn-based RPG, which I love, in
Me
Final
too.
Fantasy style. I don't think that's this is going to be more of like your
It's like Sid Meier's kind of stuff, like Civilization.
exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
I was incredibly hyped for this one. I've been wondering what Gary thinks because me and Gary play Civ together all the time. I'm super psyched, but I'm also hesitant because of how crappy Humankind was.
I think that
Yeah,
cinematic trailers belong in the trash also.
yeah, true, definitely. I guess they didn't have much to show, but I mean, they put. I think they're still in a lot of development because like you could join their community, be part of the development process, blah blah blah. I'm excited, but I am skeptical. This is
We
this is one of my
mentioned
biggest titles. This whole thing.
interesting,
There's
interesting. Okay.
yeah, one of my top excites here.
Well, we mentioned the Elder Scrolls Online, High Isle, Fallout 76, The Pit, Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels, which Gary, you mentioned the Hot Wheels looks cool. Anything from y'all for Elder Scrolls Online or Fallout 76?
Nope.
Yeah, I
So
don't play
I
those. I'm not
actually
interested.
I played a ton of ESO. I played a pretty good amount of Fallout 76. I would like to get back into Fallout 76 again. This new Pittsburgh update looks fine. All other updates look fine. The ESO Elder Scrolls Online, I'm totally over it. It's not great.
It's not great. No, I mean, I played both of them too a lot. I really liked Fallout 76. If you pick it up again, I'll play it.
Yeah, I could see myself touching some more of this Fallout 76 stuff. It's just Fallout's. I have a love-hate relationship with Fallout. I hate how alone you feel in the Fallout world. So Fallout 76 solves that for me by being co-op with people. But if somebody's not online, then I don't want to play.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to play online games with somebody, you're both gonna have to farm on your own. You have to play on your own. You have to raid on your own, and you have to consistently play an MMO on your own to stay at a competitive level. And I really wasn't feeling that with Fallout 76.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I might get back into it. I was born in Pittsburgh, so hey, boom,
Hey, there you go.
look at that.
Then saw again another CG trailer for Arc 2,
Oh
which
my
I know.
god.
This ended with a shot of Vin Diesel's character riding on the back of a T-Rex that had armor on, and that was pretty much the peak of this trailer.
With his family.
I do think he had a
Arc-
daughter or a young person with him, if I remember correctly.
I don't like the games that play like Ark. Those kind of survival, nonstop, 24/7 games. You always need food. You always need water. You need to build your place. It's like
People
Minecraft
can
where you
raid you
can't.
when you're offline. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Minecraft, but you can't actually affect the environment. So it's like a worst version of Minecraft, as far as I'm concerned. And then the people who made Ark also made Atlas, which is a pirate version of the same thing that is total dog crap. It's got like a 1.8 stars out of 5. It's awful. And then I don't care about another Ark. And Grounded was another title that popped up, and it's also an Ark style game. And it's not, the game doesn't do it for
So
me.
so Arc 2, take it or leave it, whatever. Grounded. I wasn't expecting to see like because it's been in pre-release this whole time, and I played it a bunch. When they dropped that it was coming full out, when they showed that you could finally go inside the house. I was losing it, man. Because I was watching next to Jenny, and she was like, "Wow, you're really excited for this one, huh?" And like, I guess I got most excited for this game. The full story
Annie
is
and I,
available. I'm hyped.
Annie and I were saying it was too little, too late. You had your game on game preview for 2 years before your game came out. And at this point, I'm just not interested. I'm not interested at all. They
I'm very
really,
interested.
I think they really
Barely
beat the dead
played
horse
it.
on that one.
I barely played it because it was in game preview, and y'all know me. As soon as I realize there's no achievements and stuff, I'm like, I'm waiting until full release and I'll play this. So I actually probably will jump back into this, although from what I played when it was in game preview, and I'm saying I played it like when it first dropped.
They've added so much since then.
It was not leaving me wanting to play more at that time. Now I will give it a chance. So yeah, that's interesting to hear you that you were pumped for it, Jahan. I know
I'm
it
very
has
pumped.
big ol'
I noticed a
scary
couple things
spiders.
in the trailer. One, there was more than 4 slots in the case, which I don't think there normally is. There might be more than 4 characters
it
now.
looked like they added a character. I told Annie the same thing.
Might be a new character. I noticed that you can go in the house, which was like really exciting for me, which means, new resources, new gear, new everything. And then also, they very cleverly leaned a bike up to the shed that's been there. You used to have to like glitch your way up there, but now you can walk up there, which makes me think that you could probably go in the shed too. The only thing that would make this complete for me is if you could go across the street to the gas station. But I'm pretty excited for it. I'm not gonna lie.
They showed after this a trailer for Scorn, which is a game that's been announced before, but it's kind of a first-person, gross-looking, story-based game.
Everything is made of like meat and stone or bone.
Right.
Everything, like the doors, the weapons, the bad guys. If you just want to look at a bunch of meat all the time, this is the game for you.
Scorn is a
It
gore
like
fest.
starts off and you see somebody pulling out what looks to be their own umbilical cord of some sort, like it's attached to their navel. I don't know. It was gross.
Man,
I'll
now that you
probably
mention
play
that, when we were watching it, there were 2 different game trailers that started with a close-up severed human head and like zoomed out, and I was like, really? Like, I would think the Xbox show should be family friendly enough to watch with your whole family. I didn't plan on seeing a bunch of severed heads when I was trying to watch video game trailers. That kind of got to me. I'm not gonna lie. Lots of severed heads.
Even the Redfall trailer had cursing in it in the gameplay deal. Like they had characters that cursed in the game. So I thought the same. Like I know it tells you the game's rated M, but still.
American values are severed heads are fine as long as 2 guys don't hold hands. Like that's where they draw the line. So
What do you got next, Drew?
We then saw an open world RPG called Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, which I thought kind of looked cool, but this was the first time I'd heard of it. No. It was what? What'd you say, Jahan?
It's on my hype list. Yeah, it's the first time I'd heard of it. It looked dope.
Yeah, I also thought it looked cool. A lot of like quick action against skeletons and monsters, and she had like it was a female protagonist that had a little fox creature companion, like a blue fox that it could use to jump and teleport from place to place. I don't know. This looked like the type of action adventure game that I like. Kind of a single player looking game.
I could definitely get behind this kind of game. It kind of looked like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed meets like God of War ish. Like, your goal is apparently to go kill a god. So, and yeah, you have your flintlock weapon. So you have black powder, you have an axe, you have a magic fox. It looks like a good time to me.
I thought sort of exactly what you guys said, except I didn't like it. I thought it was a pretty uninspiring main character who I don't know what her name is or her story, and I don't think I care, and I don't think she'll ever be a top 10 character of all time. I think she's uninspired. I think her having just some little blue wolf creature is also super uninspiring. Like, oh, it's a video game. You got to give them the magic pet. If they don't have a cute little thing, it's not a game. And so it did to me. It looked like a knockoff of Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider, and I think it'll be worse than both, and it'll be one of those games that just gets forgotten in time.
Damn.
We will see.
We'll see, yeah.
And then we got a new Minecraft game called Minecraft Legends. It's a Minecraft strategy game. It kind of reminded me of a Minecraft version of Dragon Quest Builders.
A little bit,
but
yeah.
I mean, it looked like Minecraft. It looked very similar to the aesthetic of what's the last one called?
Minecraft Dungeons. Yep.
Yeah, where it's kind of an over, a top-down view of your characters moving. It looked more like that, but with more crafting and building. That was maybe even more of a crossover between the two.
And it's funny you say that, because I thought when it popped up, I was like, oh, that must be a big expansion for Minecraft Dungeons. They must be doing like a big like horde riding horses or horde attacking thing. I was like, that actually looks pretty cool. I might play Dungeons again. And then it popped up and said it's a new Minecraft experience, Minecraft Legends. And I was like, okay, well, like Jahan was saying earlier, if it's free and it's already there, well, then I might as well download it and play it. I'm gonna play Minecraft Legends and report back to you guys. There's not a doubt in my mind I'm gonna play this game.
Love Minecraft. Did not enjoy Dungeons very much. Minecraft Legends looks like it kind of reminds me of Overlord. If you ever played that game where you like lead a bunch of minions to go like do stuff, kind of like Pikmin almost. It looks fun. It looks cool. And it looks like my exact like type of game. But knowing that it's Minecraft, it's probably going to be like really easy, because it's for kids, and that's the only part that's going to get me. But I'll probably play it.
Let's see. Next, we saw Lightyear Frontier, which
Ding,
was
ding, 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 ding. This one made me start clapping in my living room alone by myself.
This is hilarious because this is where it shows how opposite we are. Because this is you have a mech robot on like a farm world, and it's a farming and crafting game, and I went, no, thank you, not my thing. So it's hilarious. I love the contrast here. This is what you're into.
But it's also 4-player co-op. You can build anywhere. You're not stuck to like certain building plots. You can upgrade your mech with different things like water guns and spear guns and seed planting guns. You can change out your legs for wheels. You can like haul ass around the planet and get materials faster. And this whole time, and then they show like a lost dungeon, like this giant purple door of like, what's behind the lost dungeon? So there's more to the game than that also. And it was at that lost dungeon part that I sat up and was like, damn, I might play this game if it was co-op. And no sooner did I think that than it zoomed out and showed the 4 mechs standing side by side. And at that point, you could tell that they had custom color patterns also because somebody was purple with yellow trim. And they looked way different than everybody else. So, yeah, I'm totally into Lightyear Frontier. Free 4-player co-op. Looks kind of like Slime Rancher and Animal Crossing had a baby, but that baby was a 4-player co-op game. 100% Annie and I will be playing this. It sounds like Jahan said he's gonna give it a little toot also.
Yeah, when I watched this, I was excited. I thought it looked cool. I was excited, but I was like, it kind of looks like a lot of other games. But, and I don't think Gary will like it. But you do. So, hey, I'll probably wind up playing this.
It looks like a lot of fun. It looks relaxing. It looks really pretty. What it doesn't look like is that it has a lot of replay value or longevity. I think I'll probably play Lightyear for 3 weeks, maybe a month or two. Right, but then I'm going to be ready to kill bugs or kill vampires or something again. This isn't going to be my favorite game of all time, but I think I'm going to like it.
I think I'm going to have fun with it too, yeah.
We next saw a trailer for a game called Gunfire Reborn, which had a bunch of little, animated animals that are in first-person combat. It kind of reminded me of the art style of the old game Cell Damage, like this kind of cell-shaded looking action. This game did not look very interesting to me. Almost like an Overwatch-esque clone, but with new creatures. Maybe I have it all wrong, but that's what it looked like to me.
I'm sure I'll download it, play it for about an hour, and that'll be it. It didn't look that great to me.
As far as multiplayer first-person shooters go, I play them all. And with the champion shooters, I really have a soft spot for champion shooters where everybody has different abilities. I'll play this game, Gunfire Reborn. I don't think that it looks good at all, but I might be surprised. It might be a really fun time, depending on what the abilities are. It looks like a fast-paced game, so at least there's that quick, colorful, action-packed. I just suspect it's going to be really bad, and I don't know why I suspect that.
The next couple games were total Drew games.
One of these games I thought looked really cool, actually.
One was The Last Case of Benedict Fox, which is kind of a 2D side-scroller Metroidvania. I thought it looked really neat. Like, it looked like really heavy story-based and had the character going into the past and into all kinds of different environments. But it looked fun to me. I don't know if y'all had any interest.
It looked really cool. A lot of Metroidvanias go for the retro these days. This one went with the good graphics. and that looked it looked good. And it seems like it has a cool story. It looks like it deals with like Elder God kind of stuff, like Cthulhu stuff, maybe. So it drew my interest, and I'll definitely give it a play. It's gonna be free.
I have no interest in another side-scrolling platformer at this point in my life.
Well, interesting, because that means that then you were interested in this next one, which is called As Dusk Falls.
So this one,
and this is a kind of psychological drama similar to what we're seeing out of like supermassive games, these kind of cinematic based story choice games. Also, oh gosh, what's the company called that made
Telltale.
They made a lot of the PlayStation games like Detroit Become Human and those kinds of games. So yeah, so this was a new one, but with a very unique art style, like kind of drawn comics that wasn't fully animated, but still looked cinematic enough to keep it interesting. And it looked like a lot of branching pathways in the stories, which, Gary, I know you liked Detroit Become Human a lot. So I know you do like these kinds of games.
I love stories with branching pathways. And then, so I was already probably going to play this. Then it's coming to Game Pass. It's going to be free. Yes, I'm going to play it. And then at the last second, it said it was 1 to 8 players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can play 8-player co-op.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
How can 8 people play 3 characters in a narrative game?
I believe, actually, they've had some games that are like this, and the way that it works is if, say, you have 8 people on at one time, when it comes time to make a decision, you all choose, and then whatever has the majority of the votes, whatever the most people chose, is what ends up being the decision that's
That
made.
is so much less exciting than what I wanted.
It is less exciting than what I wanted, but it makes sense, and it seems so. Like you guys, I don't think did Bandersnatch on Netflix, right? You didn't
That's
do that?
correct.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We did that with my family. We voted on which thing to do. You know, sometimes you're really surprised by the choices people make.
Now, and let me be clear: the game in the trailer did not explain how the 8 players would be integrated.
Yeah.
So that's my guess. I might be completely wrong. I remember seeing that too, that it was up to 8 players, and I thought, oh wow, that's interesting.
I'm really hoping that the other players have some ability to affect other characters' decisions in your story that aren't the protagonist.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping too. We won't have to wait long. This one drops next month.
I saw that. That's coming up. And
Yeah,
I pre-installed it. It's on Xbox to pre-install, and that's done already.
I did as well. The next game was called Naraka Blade Point. If I remember correctly, I think this one was a last man standing kind of multiplayer game.
Battle
I think
Royale.
It's
up to 70 people in a game or something.
It's
Does that sound right?
Yes, it's like I think it's 60 people. It might be 70, but yeah, it's a third-person battle royale fighting game where it's almost sort of like an arcade fighter or Dynasty Warriors samurai ninja type of fight thing going on
With like
Naraka's-
powers and magic and stuff, yeah.
Naraka Blade Point has already been out for PC, and so this is the first time it's coming to console, and we're lucky enough as Xbox people to get it on Game Pass. It is already available to pre-install. It comes out June 23rd.
Yeah.
And
So
so that's
in 10
pre-installed for
days.
me as well. I'm ready to play that. I want to beat people up online as a samurai.
I'll probably play it. Not a big
Yep.
fan of battle royales in general, but who knows? Maybe this will be the one.
I also don't like battle royales. Completely agree with you.
PC and console crossplay. So yeah, it looks like they'll have plenty of player base.
Yeah, and people on console are going to get their butts smashed in unless they turn off crossplay.
Yeah, most likely. We also saw a game called Pentiment. This was a narrative game from Obsidian that was kind of a 2D drawn looking deal. I like these kinds of games in general. I don't know about this one from what I saw, because even me, like when this is my type of genre and I'm sitting here going, I don't know if this looks that interesting. We'll see. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Any thoughts on this one from either of you?
I might give it a
Nothing.
shot. I might actually give it a shot because it is free. I don't know. I wasn't sure about I think uh it was a game where you're the king and like you play from the throne room and like just
Yeah, that
make
game
this.
was fun.
That game was fun. I wasn't sure it was gonna be. This seems like it could have the potential. So maybe it'll surprise me. I kind of like the art style. It looks trippy.
Let's see. We talked about
We
Grounded,
did.
and then there was a stealth game called Erebon Shadow Legacy. I'm trying to even remember what this one looked
I
like. Oh, this one actually looked kind of fun.
It does look kind of fun. But I felt the same way about this that Gary felt about Flintlock. I was like, I've seen this game before. Nothing new. You can be shadows. What about like Arakami 1 and 2, which are both on Game Pass, or like, any other I don't know. It looked like just another there's a lot of noise in this
Yep. I
genre.
completely agree because when I saw it, I said the same thing. I was like, this reminds me of Flintlock. This is another game that's just gonna disappear into the sands of time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then the next one was a big one because we had Diablo 4.
Yeah.
And I think that we didn't really talk about this with Overwatch as much, but I think this is kind of one of the weird elephant in the room kind of games because obviously this is a Blizzard game. We know that currently the Activision Blizzard sale to Microsoft is still pending, so they don't officially own them yet, but presumably will in the future. So while Diablo 4 was shown, this is still a multi-platform game, and there was notably no coming to Game Pass or anything announcement on this. This is a standalone game that you would have to purchase at full price. As of now, I would assume that when the sale goes through, that this would be put on Game Pass.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just worth noting. I think the biggest thing here to me, we saw a lot of gameplay for this one, and the most notable thing is all these games are supposed to come out within the next year. So that means that we're less than a year away from Diablo 4, which for me, as a big Diablo fan, is a big deal. When Diablo 3 launched, it still launched primarily on PC. So I played that on my PC, and I never really got into the console version when it came out later. But this will be on consoles day one. So I'm really looking forward to playing Diablo 4. That's really all I got. It looked great, but it looked like more Diablo. I
So
mean,
that is where I will disagree. So I was a big Diablo 2 guy, and the expansion, played the crap out of it, grind, got a bunch of high level characters, ruined the genre for myself. Diablo 3 came out, and I felt like that about Diablo 3. I was like, this is just the same crap. Nothing's new. Boring, cool. Online auction house, boo. I didn't really care. Watching the Diablo 4 trailer, because like I was not in at all. I did not want this game. I was like, who cares? Diablo 4, who cares? But the new antagonist looks dope. And the gameplay just looks very different because like one, they're saying open world, which is a huge departure from the go through the same path 100 times, on
they were
regular.
procedurally generated. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but like, like barely.
That's
Like
how I feel about the open world when they say it too, because they say open world, and immediately I'm like, yeah, but is it really? Because you're gonna have those same narrow mountain paths that leads you through a straight way and open back up to the next
totally
zone.
fair, totally fair. I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but what really sold it for me was the boss battle they showed, where that thing was like
Okay,
flinging that box around. I was like, that looks like a Dark Souls boss fight.
so that was cool. You're right. There are these new world events and world rifts that when you're online, it'll pop up and be like, "Do you want to join the world event?" And if you smack yes, what Jahan's talking about is there was like a boss fight one that was shown where there are like 6 or 7 players fighting this giant demon who's popping in and out of portals. He's running around smashing people with this giant metal box on a chain. Yeah, that looked really
It
cool.
looked
That boss
bananas.
fight looked really
It
cool.
kind of sold it
Other
for me.
than other than that, I have to agree with Drew. It does kind of look like a lot more of the same. They have some character customization now, which is nice. You can change your hair, change your skin color, probably your gender. I'm not sure, but we'll see when that comes out.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of, as it went on, stopped paying attention a little bit because I know for a fact I'm going to play this game. And so a part of me was like, the less I see, the better. Like, I want to be as fresh as I can for when this game actually comes out. So once I had seen enough, but I did see, of course, the big reveal was the Necromancer was the last class that was announced, or that will be announced.
which
So,
I'm a big fan of Necromancers. I
I
love it.
played Necro all the time
Same.
in D2. I loved it in D2. Um, so yeah. So anyway, so that's Diablo 4.
Also, worth mentioning, couch co-op. Just FYI, it's pretty cool.
Does have couch co-op. One of the things I didn't like about that particular trailer is like the things that the production people were saying. Like they were saying things that were really dumb, and they were just hoping that you were staring at the screen and not listening to their words. One of the things I specifically remember them saying was, we have this thing where you go in and the camps will be taken over by monsters, and then after you defeat them, it'll become a working town. And I looked at Annie and I was like, that's every Diablo game. You always go in and fight the place and then it turns into a town. Like, that's not new. They did a lot of that throughout the trailer where I was like, that's not a new feature. That's not a new feature. You're not describing anything exciting.
That's funny.
That kind of stuff kind of annoyed me more than the visuals. The visuals were cool. And that boss fight you're talking about looked real cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, boss fights make a game, and that looks cool.
Yes, sir.
What's the matter,
See,
Drew?
next
Don't want to talk
we
about the
had-
next one?
We had Sea of Thieves season 7 was
That
announced.
was one of the worst game trailers I've ever seen in my life. That was such an annoying trailer, and it was a cinematic trailer on top of that.
I haven't played Sea of Thieves in a long time. My big takeaway here was that you can customize your ship more and name it and customize your captain's room. Is that the big takeaway here?
Yes.
You can't be a pirate captain. You be a pirate captain.
He sang a song. It had rhymes in it. I did laugh. I'm not gonna lie. I laughed that their ship was named something like
Buddy McBoatface.
Booty McBootface.
It's because some country had
McBoatface.
an internet contest to name a ship, like a Navy ship or something, and Buddy McBoatface. What? That's what the reference is. There's a real life boat named Buddy McBoatface.
Was it Bodie McBoatface in the game?
I think so.
Please hold. I have the trailer up. I'm gonna tell you what it was because I thought it was Booty.
It might
It
be.
is Booty McBootface.
Booty
is what it was
McBootface.
named in this trailer.
That's
So a riff on what you were telling
Riff
us,
on what I
Jahan.
was saying.
Booty McBootface. I laughed at that. I'm not gonna lie. They appealed to my
I chuckled a
lowest
little bit,
bar
but
of humor.
I never liked Sea of Thieves. It was always really boring to me. It was just a lot of work for nothing, in my opinion. I mean, you don't.
It's not for nothing. You get to dress up your doll.
Yeah, you gotta dress up your doll. That's it. You get to put clothes on. You get to put skins on. You get to slap stuff on your boat. You never gain any new good weapons. You never get any cool power ups. It's just nothing. So
It's true. All of that is true. And I loved Sea of Thieves for a long time. But all of what he said is true. There's not really a reason to keep playing Sea of Thieves.
yeah, and this announcement it doesn't change that.
No, I'm not going back all of a sudden because now I can be a pirate captain.
The next
Fair
game.
enough. The next one was called Ravenlock, and this looked like something that I would like. Kind of a fairy. It almost looks like a Alice in Wonderland style adventure fairy
looked like
tale
a-
game.
And it looked like a roguelike to me. The way it looked like every room you went into, you were fighting a boss and then making a decision to go left or right. So I agree. It looked like a third-person action-adventure Alice in Wonderland roguelike.
It looked really cool. It looks like something I'd be into too. It kind of reminded me of like Alice, like you were saying. But honestly, like some of the footage, I don't know, man. They probably should have waited on it. It looked compared to everything else we saw today. The graphics didn't look that great, and the like movement and gameplay looked clunky. Yeah, I just feel like they didn't bring their A game.
Fair.
I don't even think that this type of game should be. I don't think the Ravenlock should be on this marquee. with the other titles it's up against, the other type of games it's up against. This is what I was talking about in the very beginning when I said I think the hour and a half is a good format, but maybe just some of the titles were the wrong ones to show. You can like Ravenlock as much as you want, you can play it as much as you want, but I wouldn't have put this one on the marquee. This is not a main dish that I would have advertised.
It's fair.
I will say, to your point, this is the type. There's a lot of games like this that get dropped on Game Pass every month, that are surprises. Where I'm like, I've never heard of this game. What is it? And I look, I'm like, oh, that looks kind of fun. But I wouldn't expect it to be in a big show like this, like you're saying. So I do understand. Like maybe it has a whoa. I just bumped my desk really hard. There may be a little bit less fanfare associated with this one, and I think that that's fair.
No.
The next one we saw was Cocoon.
I
Which is
thought
from,
Cocoon looked awesome.
well, this is from it said from the lead gameplay designer of Inside and Limbo, which are, story-based, quiet, very self-contained games that take a few hours to beat. So in the vein of those are very well-respected games. So the fact that it's that lead designer in a new game, it looked very story-based, exploration-based. Like, you're not going to get much dialogue out of this or anything, but you're going to be learning new things as the story goes, and I like these kinds of games a lot.
What Cocoon looked like it played like to me was a pinball game where you drag the pinballs where they need to be. It looks like a top-down pinball game, and it looks really colorful and beautiful. The different balls, they do different things. They affect puzzles in different ways, and you're going through different worlds and flying around these different 2D environments where you're dragging the ball to the place to get the most points.
Did you
I don't know
play,
if I would say that I love pinball, but I definitely love pinball.
Did you play Creature in the Well?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did play
okay.
Creature in the Well.
Yeah, that game was it was a really cool take on pinball. Yeah.
Cool. Well, the next game they showed was Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which was a Koei Tecmo game. When they first showed the trailer for this, my first thought was, is this a Onimusha revival? That was literally my first thought. That's kind of what it looked like. I was like, God, that's a Capcom game. But it was. Believe this was mostly CG trailers. I don't. Was there gameplay in this trailer?
No, there was no gameplay, but it's a Koei Tecmo dragon killing game. And if it's cooperative, I will play it, and if it isn't, then I will not.
It looked to me like zombies, but whatever.
Yeah, regardless, I think this was a cool looking CG trailer, but yeah, from Team Ninja. So think Ninja Gaiden, but with Chinese, Three Kingdoms dynasty type stuff. I don't know. It looked, so that sounds fun to me. I wish I could have seen what this is really going to play like.
Yeah, it got my interest, but I know nothing about it, so I have no basis to.
Cinematic trailers are the worst.
Yes.
The next game had no cinematic trailer, had no gameplay, had no title, had no nothing. This was huge in the sense that it was Hideo Kojima. Video game, just absolute legend. The guy behind the Metal Gear Solid games, who left Konami and created his own company. Their last game was Death Stranding, which is a PC and PlayStation exclusive. So the fact that he is teaming up with Xbox on the next project is a really big deal for Microsoft and for Xbox owners to have Hideo Kojima project. Now, if this will be exclusive to Xbox, I don't know. I don't think that was very clear, but it seems like, he's closely partnering with Microsoft on this, which to me makes me think maybe Microsoft is helping fund it, which in that sense would make me think that it would be exclusive.
It sounded exactly like that, yeah.
To Xbox. So we'll see, which he likes to use a lot of technology, Hideo Kojima. So, I mean, it could be that this uses some sort of cloud technology or something that Xbox is the one, Microsoft really has the goods. So
he did mention, Kojima mentioned that something about the cloud was big to him. He said that this was a game that he's wanted to make for a long, long time, but now finally can. And he did mention the Xbox cloud for some reason. So,
do you guys think we're gonna get to play a game on Xbox where we carry a fetus for 3 weeks? and we walk it from here to over there.
I kind of thought when he showed
Kinda
up that
funny.
they were going to announce that Death Stranding would come to Xbox as well. But I do think that Sony helped to finance that game. So in the same respect as this, we might not see that one on Xbox.
So
but yeah,
we're gonna get our own Death Stranding. Hooray!
Yeah.
I think Hideo Kojima is a huge name that is obviously, painfully obviously past his prime, and no one is accepting that except for me.
Oh, I would beg to differ. I mean, Death Stranding had a lot of fans, and that game was very unique. A lot of people did not that game, but that game had its fans, and boy, is it stylish as all get out. So, I will reserve judgment till we see more.
I never played it, so I can't pass a judgment on it. It looked weird, but
I think the people who liked it were Hideo Kojima fans, and if Metal Gear, the series didn't exist, Hideo Kojima would be nobody, and Death Stranding would have been stupid without him having the catalog he already did.
The next announcement was the biggest announcement of the show for me personally. This was the announcement that Microsoft is teaming with Atlas, and we're getting Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 Portable coming to Game Pass, all three within the next year. The first is going to be Persona 5 in October, which I just finished. So Persona 5 came out in either 16 or 17. I played through the game then. Then they released Royal, which had more content. I finally purchased Royal like 6 months ago and played it just recently and put another like 120 hours into it to beat it. And now it's coming out on Xbox. I'm already debating if I'm going to play it again when it comes out in October. I love Persona 5. One of the best Japanese RPGs I think that exists. All takes place in Japan, where you play a high school student and there's dungeons and a huge story, but you also, in between that, you decide what to do with your day, whether you go to class or hang out with your friends. Who do you spend time with? Establish your relationships. I love this game. Can't get enough. And I haven't played Persona 4 Golden or Persona 3 Portable, so I'm really excited to be able to dig into other games in the franchise in the next year. So I knew that this would not be up Gary's alley, but I'm so excited for this. I
might check it out. I like JRPGs sometimes, and the whole like balancing real life with like this other thing is kind of cool. I was surprised.
Sounds like a dating simulator game on a phone app.
No. It's so much more than that. Now you can date in the game, but it's so much more than that. And this is one of the most stylish, not even most stylish Japanese RPGs, one of the most stylish video games that I've ever played. It's so great. So great. So yeah, I'm all about Persona, but that announcement was obviously catered to me, especially since I just finished a recent replay.
Yeah. No, I'll probably check it out.
And then the last one is the big one, which is Starfield, where we got to see a lot of gameplay here. We got to see some story gameplay, on a planet. We got to see one of the big cities. We got to see character customization. We got to see space flight and space combat here. So I just want to know, what did y'all think of Starfield? Are y'all excited? Was this worthy of being the main event of the show? What are y'all thinking?
I was actually what I was looking for, I think, was Elder Scrolls in space. And what I saw was Fallout in space. And I know how similar Elder Scrolls and Fallout are, but Starfield looked really empty to me. And while there were a few populated cities, it looked like a lot of empty fields leading to empty buildings with empty rooms before you would come across a handful of bad guys. Which means that it's going to be just as empty on the way back out. I think that maybe this is a hot take, right? The game's out, I haven't played it. Maybe they spent too much time on the planets and the vehicles and your ability to access in between them quickly enough, and because of that, they didn't put enough combatant NPCs on the ground. It just looks like wide open fields to me.
Yeah. So at the beginning, I actually felt similar, because this is one I've been excited for. I'm a huge Bethesda fan, huge Elder Scrolls and Fallout fan. I love all of them. I've loved every installment. This looked pretty empty. I wasn't sure how to feel about it. It kind of reminded me of No Man's Sky, which I did not like. It was empty and boring and weird, and I just didn't have fun with it. It was just another survival game. But eventually it got to the point where like they started showing the big cities. Like they had a city that looked like Cyberpunk, like what Cyberpunk should have looked like. You can explore 1,000 planets in 100 systems, which is pretty cool. But a lot of
but if you can explore 1,000 planets, how many of the buildings can you go into on the cyberpunk planet?
I'm not sure. I feel like, I mean, at least some will. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is they're going to do the same old trick, right? Where they have 800 buildings and you go in 4 or 5, just like GTA's always done. I just feel like they're going to pull those kind of tricks on us.
Well, I mean, so the 1,000 planet, a lot of people are speculating, and it makes sense that there's so many. A lot of them are going to be boring, and I agree. The things that I feel save this for me, the things that like where I was like, oh wow, no, I'm super excited to play this. First off, like the combat looked pretty fun. You could jetpack around. It looked like
I didn't want to. I was going to talk about it later, but I noticed a lot of the combat was just the main person playing the game just ran straight at the bad guy.
Yeah.
They just ran straight at them and shot. And there were times when they would stop in the middle of a staircase and turn and shoot at bad guys. They weren't needing to take cover. There was nothing innovative about the gameplay, about the combat. It really did to me seem like the combat hasn't made progress since New Vegas.
It looked a lot like Fallout combat for sure. It was cool that you can jetpack. I enjoyed. It looked like there's going to be a lot of story, a lot of dialogue and stuff, a lot of factions. So I was excited for that. You can also pretty much anywhere you feel like it seemed to state on any planet, anywhere you could just start a colony, and so you can. And the building was good. Because, like, I don't like when you're in, like, first-person mode and you have to, like, oh, I put the ceiling here, blah, blah, blah. It was, like, drag and drop, like, city builder ease kind of. Good. You could set up. And also, beyond that, so here's the cool part. You could set up your outpost. You can make it as small or as big as you want. You can also get NPCs that you meet and hire them to work jobs there to, like, gain resources for you and keep things going when you're not there. And it also leads me to believe that, you know, those people could become quest givers, blah, blah, blah. So you can kind of make your own towns and populate these planets yourself to a point. And then to like top it all off, you can build your own ships. And there's ship combat, which I was not expecting at all. And also
I also wasn't, and I thought it looked cool.
It looked good.
The space combat.
It looked good.
A little disorienting to watch in that way. Yeah, I'm definitely way higher on it than Gary is. I thought it looked. I mean, it's space exploration, right? So I don't expect every planet that I go to be densely populated with people, and especially if you're, you know, doing some exploration. So that didn't bother me. And also to me, it was, they noted, you know, this was early in the game, and it even showed that some of those, the adversaries they were fighting were level 1 or level 2 villains. So I would imagine it'll get, you know, yeah, of course you're making some assumptions, but I would assume it will get more intense as the game goes on. I did like the fact that it looked a little bit more traditional first-person shooter in the combat in that way, that, like, there's no VATS system here from Fallout. Yeah. And, you know, obviously when I would play Elder Scrolls, I mostly would use archery, but a lot of people do, you know, hand-to-hand. So it's just a different form of combat. So I'm interested to see how that does get expanded on. I thought the big cities, though, did look great. But I will say, to your point, is when they said, you know, at first they showed, here's this planet, and then here's this planet within this galaxy. And then I thought, oh, so this galaxy is going to be the open world with these planets. Like, that seems pretty, you know, doable. And then it expanded and it said over 1,000 planets. And my thought was, okay, well, that's, you know, about 950 planets that I probably won't go to in my playthrough. Because I know myself, and I'll play the story and I'll do side quests and probably do what I need to get achievements and such, but I don't know if I'm just going to fly to a random planet in the distance just to do it. Maybe once or twice, but I'm not going to do it 1,000 times.
What if there's an achievement for flying to all 1,000 planets, Drew?
Oh boy, that might, every now and then you see an achievement that you just from the get-go have to say, all right, I'm not going to get every single one in this game. And that would be one of them. I don't know if I could do it.
That's a lot. Yeah,
Unless you can really get there fast, and some of them are small, maybe with not much to it. I don't know.
Yeah. A couple of the other things that I really liked about it. So the talent trees looked clean. I liked them. I liked the iconography because Fallout has its stylization. Skyrim, used the astrology, and they're always different. This one, I don't know. I liked the symbology, the symbols and the iconography in the small thing that I liked. But the thing I also noticed is that there appeared to be ancient alien civilizations to explore as well. That was exciting. I don't know. I am actually way more excited for this than I was initially, for sure.
I was gonna play it when they announced it, and I was gonna play it now.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it. Yeah, like 100%. I'm gonna play it day one. I'm probably gonna get sweat stuck to my friggin' game chair. Yeah, I'm gonna fat it up. I'm just gonna go no shirt, underwear, get all sweaty, and stick to my couch. That's what I'm doing for this game.
I love that.
I'm gonna get like a permanent Cheeto stain on my skin, on my chest. It's gonna be fun.
I love that more than I love Carly Rae Jepsen.
Might take a day off from work.
We love Carly Rae Jepsen.
I might do the same, Jahan. I'm not gonna lie.
Might take a personal day that day.
Yeah. Well, perfect. I think that's really everything. The only other thing is they did show a big graphic of, everything coming to Xbox and PC over the next year. And some of the games that were shown there were not necessarily shown during the show, or maybe were recently shown during PlayStation's conference, that we knew would come to Xbox also, like Resident Evil 4 Remake. Gosh, what else was on there?
Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, Callisto Protocol. That was another big one.
I'm excited for that one.
Dead Space remake. Yeah, so there's some things that we knew,
real quick,
were coming that were added on here.
Yeah, real quick though, like ones that are confirmed Game Pass that they didn't talk about during the stream. Just the graphics. Dark Tide. Me and Gary are gonna be playing the crap out of that soon. Also, there was what was the other one I was really excited for, not having to pay for.
Atomic Heart.
Yes, Atomic Heart. I am so Atomic Heart. Speaking of Fallout, it looks like Fallout. It's like nuclear apocalypse. I think you're in Russia, or like Russia invaded America or something. There's Russian going on, and like it looks nuts. It looks like the graphics are clean. The enemies are scary. It looks fun. So I'm really excited for those two. I think that's
Gary,
all.
Any other final notes?
No, sir. That's all from me. I saw the games, and I'm gonna play the games.
I will just note today, I know this has been mostly about the Xbox Bethesda show, but another big video game thing that happened today, actually, was PlayStation Plus launched their new PlayStation Plus service. So, they have their basic PlayStation Plus is $60 per year, and now you can add on to that to get different tiers, where they've basically done their own Game Pass competitor. It is not nearly as, consumer friendly, I guess, as Game Pass is. We're not getting all the PlayStation exclusives day one on release or anything like that in the future as part of this. But there are a lot of games that were added to this that are, Marvel Spider-Man and the Miles Morales game and a lot of PS5 games, and you can now stream old PS3 games. There's some PS1 classics as part of this, but there's hundreds of games that have been part of this service. So it's just worth noting that it's the closest thing they've had to a true Game Pass competitor yet.
Yeah. Xbox Game Pass is still definitely the best value in gaming. But my question is, can you run the PlayStation subscription notice or subscription thing on your PC?
I don't believe.
No way.
Damn. So, because you could, I would buy it. I would buy it and like use my computer as a PC, or as a PlayStation. But
that's a good question. Don't take my word for it. I'd look into it because I know that they do have some of their PlayStation exclusives have now come to PC, but I don't know if that game is on the PlayStation Plus service if you can access the PC version as well.
Yeah. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question.
But yeah, Xbox Game Pass still the best value in gaming for sure. Certified fresh out the box. I guess that's it for the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase. Thank you everyone for listening. We've been Fresh Out the Podcast, and I've been Jahan at RockFact on Twitter.
It's me, Casualty CDG. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and then every Sunday with Fresh Out the Podcast.
I'm Drew Munhausen at Drew Munhausen on Twitter. Thank you for listening to this bonus episode. If you need some more podcasting content, we just had a great episode on Jurassic World Dominion where we talked about how absolutely befuddled we were about the giant locusts in that film. And this upcoming Sunday will be our 50th episode of Fresh Out the Podcast. Will drop that day. So plenty of podcasting content for your ears.
Absolutely. Everybody out there, hit us up on Twitter with what you're most excited for from the Xbox Bethesda Showcase. We'd love to interact with you. But in the meantime, stay fresh.